Hello, I'm Walking the Cow.
Hi, my name's Jay.
And this is our new series on public information films. And so, Jay, since this is my channel and you're the new kid on the block, do you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction and then tell us what British public information films are all about?
Yeah, look, so I'm Darren's mate, and
Known each other for how long now?
I think it is 21 years.
What's that then, a diamond wedding?
I don't glass
Wood wedding?
glass anniversary.
Well, a bunch of elves or something.
Silk. Horsehair. Anyway, so we're reaching our horsehair anniversary, and in that time we've been talking a bit about, or recently we've been talking a bit about public information films, and what these are those films that they play on telly sometimes, and you see them and they tell you about road safety, water safety, how to cross the road, drink driving, things like that. And we've just put together a series where we look at some of our favourites. Kind
of bunched them together in themed videos. So, for instance, this is episode 1, and we're going to be looking at Joe and Petunia. And so, pretty self-explanatory. All the videos in this are going to be looking at Joe and Petunia. Whereas the next one is going to be on, what is the next one? Water?
Water safety.
Yep, and so I'm sure everyone's familiar with one of them, at least, in particular.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So some of these, some of them are quite notorious, some of them are very dated. You were talking about how some of them are maybe quite patronising.
Yeah, when you look at them through Modernise, they're really patronising, and essentially what they're all trying to tell you to do just like really basic safety tips. I mean, it sounds like maybe back then when some of these were originally shown, these things weren't as obvious. Whereas now it's just like, and it's not just now being an adult. Like now, I think now as a kid, like we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah,
we knew in the 90s to stop and look left and right, and it sounds like. But yeah, and a lot of them are like really patronising, especially the ones around World War II, which we'll be looking at like in a long time from. Yeah, there's about 10 episodes to come before we even get to all that.
But another aspect of them is that a lot of them use famous animation houses, famous celebrities, and a lot of them are just great kind of miniature works of art that are very, very effective. And because the messages are so serious. The ones about we haven't really got one about trains, have we? Some of the train ones are really frightening, about being careful on railway lines and things, and some of them just great, and that's what's brought us here, really, isn't it? So do you want to maybe do some stuff with Joe and Petunia?
Yeah, so we'll moving on. So yeah, this is episode 1. This is Joe and Petunia. There's at least 10 different episodes in this series that we have so far. We don't know whether we're going to call that series 1 or whether it's just going to be. I think, to be honest, we're going to have this as just an ongoing thing. Maybe at one point it won't be every Friday night, but for at least 10 weeks it's going to be every Friday night. So, right, Joe and Petunia. Joe and Petunia were a couple of animated characters that featured in 4, technically 5, and if you really want to scrape the barrel you could say 6 or 7, but Joe and Petunia as Joe and Petunia appeared in technically 4 official episodes. And they were these are one of these, the reason we're doing these as episode 1 is because a lot of people remember these fondly. When I were doing research for this episode in particular, I found there are a ton of people out there online talking about these still. I even found little figures on Gumtree. And so I think
figures?
little knitted figures of Joe and Petunia on Gumtree, and some bastard had bought them as well because I really wanted them. Right, so this is the first video they ever appeared in, and this came out in 1968, and this one is titled Coast Guard.
It's ever so nice and peaceful up here, Joe. Nice view, too.
Ah, very nice, Petunia. And look at that nice little boat. He's having a lot of fun out there in his little dinghy. That's what they call them, sailing dinghy.
Are they nice people at our hotel, Joe?
Hey, hello. Now he's splicing his mainbrace.
Though I don't think the man on table number 6 is very nice.
Hey, do you think he's in trouble, Petunia?
Oh, no, Joe. He's just enjoying himself on holiday.
Oh, he's decided to have a swim. Now he's going to climb back again. I expect that water's a bit cold, don't you? Oh, he's changed his mind. Now he's waving to us. Going! I can't say I recognise him, though.
Well, he must know us. Maybe it's the gent on table number 6.
No, it's not him. He's Oh, now he's shouting. Lovely day, isn't it? Help! Help! Dial 999 and ask for the Coast Guard. I can't hear a word he's saying, you know. Help. Dial 999 and ask for the Coast Guard. Well, I never.
If you see a boat you think may be in distress, dial 999 and ask for the Coast Guard.
Cooey!
Gooey! He now is splashing his main brace.
So yeah, if you've never seen these characters before, let us introduce you to Joe and Petunia, and there is Joe and Petunia. So they're a married, well, I'm guessing they're a married couple.
Yeah, I think what I like about these two and why they attempt to connect with people.
They're always on holiday as well.
Yeah, like, so they're kind of British holiday makers, you know, sort of like nosy about the people in the hotel and all this kind of stuff that's deliberately designed to connect with you, make them believable characters, I think, and that's what kind of helps get the message across about, you know, what to do if you notice someone in trouble, I suppose. And
so this 1968, this one, and like I said, this is the first one that they ever appeared in. We're looking at these in chronological order as well. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether they all came out in 68 or whether, but I know for a fact that they all ran between 68 and 73 originally.
They look so good though for that 1960. That's like 51 years
Well,
old.
this is part of the problem, as we're not gonna spoil anything because there's like kind of a spoiler towards the end. But the thing with these is you've got to understand, like you guys that are watching this that have seen these and grew up with them, like unlike us, you know them, and so you know that about all the buzz and just how popular. And it's hard to explain just how popular these became, especially for just two characters that were public information film.
Yeah.
Scott, and I think only like the Green Cross Code Man.
Charlie Says.
Charlie Says maybe, and Tufty maybe. I think those are the other ones that are remembered fondly as much as these. And so yeah, John Petunia, they're supposed to be a typical British holidaymakers. Are they from Yorkshire? Is it Yorkshire?
That's the idea, isn't it? I think I'd call that.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so the idea that runs throughout all the different videos is, I don't want to call them stupid, but I think, like you said, they're just oblivious to these rules.
That's a good word.
And so, like, these characters are oblivious, and then the advert then teaches us and kind of teaches them.
Yeah, through their obliviousness. That's a good, And who voiced them? Because they're quite notable people as well, aren't they?
We're going to come to voice them after this next one.
Oh, are we? Okay, right. So
yeah, just before we move on to this next one, this, as I said, this one was called The Coast Guard from 1968, and this one launched. The point of this public information film were not just to tell you that you can. The Coast Guard is an actual service that maybe not a lot of people knew about. But I believe in 68 or roundabout then, it might have been the year before, that is when it did actually become a 999 service. As far as I know, that's what I've been reading.
Was it?
Yeah, it became like part, like a national, is it not are they called national services? You know, fire, police, ambulance, rescue, all that kind of stuff.
I was a bit older than that, 999. Is it not older than that?
No, not 999. The idea of phoning 999 and asking for a Coast Guard.
Right, Coast Guard introduced
so
to 9.
Before then you just have things like the police, the fire, ambulance, and so this was to raise
publicise, raise awareness.
And well, it's not really spoiling anything, but they did re-show this during 2006 just to remind people.
You said you remembered watching this like when it was re-shown.
Yeah, in 2006 I used to work in a supermarket, and Wednesday and Thursday mornings I used to have to be at work for 6 o'clock, and so I used to be up at like 5 o'clock. I know that's lazy because it only gives me like an hour, but yeah, I used to be up at like 5 o'clock, and they used to be on Challenge TV on the morning. But we will come to that later because they did, like I said, there's 4 official videos, but there are other ones that you could kind of say they appeared. Right, so this next one is called Flags, and it was to raise awareness of the flags on the beach, just to tell you whether it's too safe to swim or not. And so, yeah, this is Flags with Joe and Petunia.
interesting, Joe.
No, not really, Petunia.
Well, you must have spotted something.
Well, it's what you might call a rare sea bird.
Oh, fancy, how nice.
I think I might go for a little swim, Petunia.
Not here, Joe. A red notice means it's permanently unsafe, and you must never, never bathe from here.
Oh. That water looks very inviting, Petunia.
You can't bathe from here either. Not now. Can't you see the red flag? It means it's just not safe.
But I can swim like a fish.
That's no excuse, Joe. As long as the red flag's flying, you mustn't go in the water.
Oh.
Now you're in luck. Red and yellow flags. That means the area between them is patrolled by lifeguards. Now in you go, Joe.
Funny, but I've changed my mind, Petunia.
Oh, men.
I really like the sound effects on some of these, and I love the cymbal crash on that first one we watched, that for the wave. And I really, really love that sound effect of her, Petunia, with the ice cream. Can you do it? That's
I sound like the Thing.
But yeah.
So this video is entitled Flags, and I don't know about. I mean, you grew up on the coast down south, didn't you? And I used to go. I must have gone to the coast as a child at least 5 times a year. And I even I never knew about this flags business. It's still a thing because I have noticed them kind of since going back as an adult. I've noticed that there are flags there. I don't know what they mean, but there's different coloured flags. I don't know if this still applies. I don't know if it's still a case of red and yellow. And some beaches, in fact, these days, it tells you before you get to the actual beach that you can't swim there full stop because... Yeah. Well, again, this is from... Well, we know it's from between 1968 and 73. You got to think that back then, a lot of people did actually go to the beach for their holidays. Yeah. Like in Britain, whereas now it's cheap. It's so cheap to fly nowadays.
Yeah, this is the time of. I think they say that the package holiday really took off between the 50s and the 70s, and so this is much more people on domestic holidays, isn't it?
Like Joe and Petunia.
Yeah, this is it. This is it for that thing, and then also you've got the really nice kind of subtle characterization here as well of Joe kind of. And the rare seabird, which is a little bit...
I was just thinking about that.
Dodgy now.
Yeah, I was thinking,
but
do you think that would be allowed now? Because at first I'm kind of thinking I don't think it would be allowed because you can kind of see all she's got. But then think about shampoo adverts and stuff like that. Yeah. There's always like some sexy music and some woman like having a shower and bubbles falling all over her ass and stuff like that. Like L'Oreal.
When was the last time you saw a mermaid in a L'Oreal advert?
Well, I don't watch telly, so that could be really common for all.
Yeah, actually,
mermaid shampoo adverts.
Mermaid shampoo, merpoo.
So, Jay, what do you know about Nicholas cartoons? Because I could only find like one thing.
I don't know anything about Nicholas cartoons.
No, the only thing I could find is that we'll be familiar with Nicholas cartoons because they made Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah, so this is the Kenneth Williams thing?
Yeah, we're how can I describe Will-O-the-Wisp? We're like a ghost spirit thing.
Yeah, in a wood with all these different and they're all voiced by Kenneth Williams.
Do you know what year Will-O-the-Wisp? It's to do with this, so we can talk about it. Do you know what year Will-O-the-Wisp started?
I do. Was it 1981?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks way older.
Yeah.
It looks. Yeah. I thought Will-O-the-Wisp were like a 60s thing.
I love Kenneth Williams, and so I've got his diaries, and he
I can't do it.
His diaries tell you about how it tells you everything about him recording the stuff for Will-O-the-Wisp, and because he was such a great voice actor, and it's amazing how he's not really on a lot of these public information. I don't know if he did many public information films, but he would have been great on some of these.
He's got that voice,
yeah,
and it's a familiar
very
voice.
Good. Yeah, but he was very versatile, and but anyway, Nicholas cartoons made that, and then Will-O-the-Wisp.
Yeah, and so this next video is Joe and Petunia, the country code, and we've only got one more left after this, and obviously this is to raise awareness about the country code. If you don't know what the country code is, it is specifically a British thing. I believe they've probably got something like it in other countries. And so this is the country code, Joe and Petunia.
Oh, Joe, I have enjoyed our country walk.
Yes, we've come a long way, Petunia. Look, you can see our tracks right across that yellow cornfield.
Oh, yes. It's ever so nice in this field, but I'm glad those cows have gone.
Aye, they're taking themselves off for a walk down the road. Look, through that gate I opened. The one marked private.
Oh, yes. Our little Bingo's having a lovely time playing with those sheep. The exercise will do him good.
Hey, I've hit that bottle, Petunia. It smashed up a treat.
Oh, very clever.
You know, there's a farmer down there with a purple face.
I expect it's all that sun and the open-air life, Joe.
Now he's doing one of those country dances.
Well, I don't think he looks very friendly.
Maybe you're right. Though it can't be anything we've done.
No. But I won't stay where I'm not wanted. Come on, Joe.
When folk come out to the country, why, oh, why won't they follow the country code?
Again, that obliviousness, isn't it? That's so good. Kind of so effective there.
Yeah, I think that one might be my favourite one now. I've seen him loads of times, so I just like, he's down there with a purple face.
We were laughing at the way he just keeps throwing stuff almost at the screen. Yeah,
usually they're not doing anything like as directly damaging as that. Well, they're not really usually doing anything damaging, but yeah, just like how it's like without thinking, just picking bricks off this like ancient wall and just like. And then Petunia, Petunia, and he's like, "Oh well, I won't stay where we're not wanted.
I won't stay where I'm not wanted."
As if like it's like Guy's fault. So yeah, we should have really got to this sooner, but Joe and Petunia were voiced by Peter Hawkins. Did the voice of Joe with his, I think in that video, the Yorkshire accent was a lot
it's been brought out a bit more,
in that one. Yeah, so Peter Hawkins did the voice of Joe. Peter Hawkins was a voice actor. I'm familiar with him through Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men. Although I can't say I'm familiar with him because I only just learned.
The sounds that come from that.
But yeah, he's
famous sounds.
Do you know about anything about Peter Hawkins? He's like one of these really like well respected voice actors. He did like the Daleks.
Follow my directions.
And I think the original Cybermen
Right.
in Doctor Who. He definitely did the Daleks.
So for people who whose period of children's television and things like that are, or they're interested in 50s to 70s kind of children's television, he is a voice you would have heard a lot. And that, did he do Weed from Bill and Ben, or did he actually do Bill and Ben?
I think he just did Bill and Ben.
Okay.
He just did those two. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, do we need to explain Bill and Ben, Flower Pot Men?
Do you want to explain Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men?
Yeah. So it's just two puppets.
I never liked it. I can't use it. I can't say it's before my time because most stuff I like's before my time. But it's like no. I just, even as a kid, I wouldn't have liked that shit.
So two puppets and like one. So this is very early British children's television. This is kind of Watch with Mother sort of thing, like the Wooden Tops and what's that thing, Muffin the Mule, and what's that other thing with.
Those are just words to me. I don't know what Muffin the Mule is.
Yeah, but I bet you can tell it's a mule called Muffin.
Well,
they're not just words,
Well, they are to me because you're saying Muffin the Mule. All I'm thinking about is, I don't know what he's talking about.
What's that other thing? Andy Pandy.
Oh no, Andy Pandy.
Pandy, yeah. So all that anyway, and then
that's not
just
like
Andy
Pandy's not just words in there. I know Andy Pandy.
And yet Muffin the Mule.
Is it Andy Pandy that used to sit in a shoe?
Yeah, and in his pyjamas.
That's right. Yeah.
And anyway, and it's like the one shot of them two and the flower pot, and then there's a weed, isn't there, that just comes up from the pot, and it just goes wee.
We might want to move on because I ain't got that much for Wendy Craig.
Wendy Craig was in Butterflies. That's it. That's all you need to know.
Might as well make a fucking Peter Hawkins podcast every week. Just like
the Peter Hawkins podcast. Peter Cast.
So Peter Hawkins did Joe, and Petunia was voiced by Wendy Craig, and unlike Peter Hawkins, I don't really know. I don't know much about Peter Hawkins, but it sounds like we do.
We've just spent a long time. Hi, Peter, if you're listening and watching.
So yeah, Wendy Craig did the voice of Petunia, and but while we've been researching this, I kept thinking that Rita Tushingham did the voice of Petunia.
Really? What? Really?
Now can you? Yeah, but can you figure out why I got Wendy Craig and Rita Tushingham mixed up?
Because they look very similar.
No. I can't say anything without giving it away.
Were they both in
We ain't got time. I might as well.
something? They
Right.
were both in something.
They're both featured in horror films.
Oh, right.
Rita
Okay.
Tushingham were in Straight On Till Morning, which
Right, yeah, okay.
I love that film. And
Oh, yeah,
Wendy
what's
Craig
again?
were the mum in The Nanny.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
I sure do that last year, The Nanny. Which so yeah, all this time I kept thinking, yeah, Joe's voiced by Peter Hawkins, and Petunia's voiced by Rita Tushingham, and I kept thinking, no, it's not Rita Tushingham, is it? It's Wendy Craig.
If you're a Smiths fan, the video for "Girlfriend in a Coma" by the Smiths is all footage of a Rita Tushingham film. In case you don't know Rita, and she was in A Taste of Honey and things like that. And Wendy Craig was in like Butterflies, that sitcom.
Sure, in a lot of things, but again, if I were familiar with a lot of the stuff she were in, then I'd have wrote them in my notes just so that we could discuss them.
We're two like people in our 30s talking about people who are working a lot. Like, we're total retrophiles of this.
I bet my grandma can't talk about Peter Hawkins for 10 minutes. So yeah, Wendy Craig, I'm familiar with her from Petunia, and it's funny because when I couldn't tell at first that it were her doing the voice, but now I think of it, I can't because in The Nanny, she's not really talking properly. She's either crying or screaming from beginning to end. She's just having this massive fucking mental breakdown. See, the country code, just before we move on towards nearly the last one.
Yeah.
This is what the country code was, the original rules. They were changed in. We're on Wikipedia. I try not to use Wikipedia when I'm doing stuff like this because anybody could just, it's too easy.
Yeah.
But the original rules and the ones that they would have been referring to in the Joe and Petunia short that we just watched were a lot longer than. Yeah.
Are we reading all of them?
Quickly, yeah. Do you want to take it in turns? We'll do
Yeah,
it.
let's do them in
Okay, so enjoy the countryside and respect its life and work.
Guard against all risk of fire.
Leave all gates as you found them.
Keep your pets under close control.
Keep to public paths across farmland.
Use gates and stiles to cross fences, hedges and walls.
Leave livestock, crops and machinery alone.
Take your litter home.
Help to keep all water clean.
Protect wildlife, plants and trees.
Take special care on country roads.
Make no unnecessary noise.
What
I
would be
got all the long
unnecessary?
ones.
What would be unnecessary noise?
I don't know. Well, if you go back to Joe and Petunia.
Well, if you fall over, you break your leg.
Well, did they make
you need
any
some
of them?
help, and you start shouting, and then some farmer just comes along and he's like, "Hey, no necessary
No,
noise."
well, there's a great country code public information film. Do you know which one I'm on about? The one from the late 60s that's animated.
Has it got
and
dogs choking on
yeah,
plastic?
yeah,
and stuff?
it's all a black background, but it's like it's beautifully animated, and there's some stuff there about people kind of running their cars and kind of shouting and things like that and going down country lanes. I don't know about you, but I didn't know about the country code until I saw a public information film. So I don't remember doing much about this when I was younger.
No, I don't
I wasn't
think
really
I'd
aware
ever-
of this very much. I don't know whether that means
I
that
was
it's
aware
not-
of it. I was aware of it, but I didn't know specifically what it was, all about. I just
Yeah.
knew that it would basically like clean your litter up, don't piss about, don't like make a mess and stuff. There's a YouTuber I watch called Michelle Knight, and she does like what you'd call, she hasn't done one in a while, but she does what you'd call like rambling videos.
Right,
She'd go
okay.
out and wait for a train to pass so can like log the train. Goes out, and she mentioned in one of her videos about the country code, and that's what kind of reminded me. It's like,
Right, yeah.
it is a thing, because nowadays, like I don't want to sound like an old bastard, but kids, when they go out on fields and stuff like near where I live, there's litter everywhere, and it's ridiculous. It's really bad. We've got one more video left. That's it. And so we're not no need to repeat any of the stuff we've said, because this has been a long episode. But Joe and Petunia, if you can't tell just from the first 3 videos, they're just really likable, instantly likable, I think, whether you grew up with them or... Like, the first time I saw them in 2006, I didn't know that they were an old thing. I thought it was just like a modern retro kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so what happened with Joe and Petunia, they became so popular that and people just liked them so much that I think people were missing the whole point of the adverts.
Right.
And people were like really looking forward to seeing them actually come on, like looking forward to seeing these like little like 1 minute segments on TV and stuff. And so they had to like try to put an end to it somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you now watch the last official video that they ever appeared in. This is a video called Worn Tires.
Nice view from up here, Petunia.
Yes, very nice, Joe. Worn tires kill. Worn tires kill? Are our tires worn, Joe?
Yeah, oh, I wouldn't think so, Petunia.
Well, I expect you've looked. You have looked, haven't you, Joe? Joe, have you looked at our tires?
Yes.
Recently, Joe?
Nice view from up here, Petunia.
Joe, are our tires worn?
Not warm, Petunia. They're a bit smooth.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice view from up here, Petunia.
Yes, very nice, Joe.
God, I don't like that one.
Yeah. No,
And
it's
that
really
is-
frightening.
And I think that video is a good. If all this is totally new to you, if all this public information film business is completely new to you, then that's like a little taste of what's to come. So yeah, as you can see, John Petunia became so popular. As I said, I think people were missing the point, and I think a lot of people, I think even the people behind the producing them and stuff, thought the same. And so essentially, they just killed them off.
Yeah, but look, I mean, it services the point of what that one in particular, and that huge campaign, and that huge campaign that's gone on for many years about just getting people to be careful with tires, just road safety in general, things like that. There's a really strange public information film about not mixing cross-ply and radial tires, and it's quite funny because it's so specific, but that was apparently quite a big thing about people mixing types of tyre, and that can be quite dangerous. Do you
I
remember
don't know
seeing
anything about that.
cross-ply?
I was going to say the same about worn tyres. Like you said with the country code.
Yeah.
It might be because maybe all drivers know about worn tyres, but
Yeah,
as
look,
someone
yeah.
who doesn't drive, I've never heard of worn tyres.
Well, it
Funnily
stands to reason.
Funnily enough, though, there's a public information film where a guy, like, it's about... it's a really long one, so we won't be able to show it on any episodes. But this guy's supposed to check his tyres properly, and it's telling you to check your tyres. And
Yeah.
he just, like, he walks around his car quickly and just kicks them once. And it's like, that's not checking for worn tyres, you idiot. In that last one, Wendy Craig didn't do Petunia's voice. I don't know why they changed it, but Bridget Forsyth did. I know even less about Bridget Forsyth than I do all Wendy Craig and Mr. Hawkins.
Our friend Peter Hawkins.
In my notes, I've got whatever happened to the Likely Lads, so she's probably in that.
Right.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah,
I've heard of it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, this was the sitcom with James Bolam, the two chaps from like the northeast.
Joan Petunia remind me of George and Mildred.
Yeah, he looks like Brian Murphy, doesn't he?
Although I think he's a lot more like Brian Murphy than Petunia is Mildred.
He's more like Brian Murphy than Brian Murphy is. I think. Yeah, no, definitely. So Brian Murphy's George.
And Joan Petunia were quite a while before George and Mildred. George and Mildred were what, late 70s, mid to late 70s.
Yeah, well, because they were on Man About the House, and that's like early. 70s,
Yeah.
Were they on
Actually,
that?
I never thought about that.
They're on that, aren't they? Because it's spin-off George and Mildred.
So do you think that
Terry
Joan
Jo-
Petunia might have been inspired by him anywhere? Because that's what I always...
No, I just think that they just remind me. There's no. I don't think there's any inspiration. There's no inspiration.
I think it's just because George and Mildred, George is always like oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah.
No.
And he's just a bit, yeah.
So that's it for Joe and Petunia. They were killed off essentially, but then they did make an appearance in 2006. Now I don't know whether it ran just in 2006 or whether they showed it in 2007 as well. And just in my own personal experience, you had to be up really early, where advertisers aren't buying slots, and so they repeat them. And just to raise awareness for the Coast Guard again, and that you can dial 999. What they did was they kind of visually upgraded it, so it didn't look so grainy and old. And what they did, I think Joe had a mobile phone in his hand, or Petunia had a mobile phone.
Yeah, I remember
And
this.
there were some other little touches to it. As we're saying this now, there'll be like a screenshot up showing like a slot from that. And that's it. But essentially they were killed off in 73, I think. So and again, it is just a taste of things to come, because Joe and Petunia, on the whole, are like, they're funny.
Yeah.
They're really funny, and like, funny is what public information film shouldn't be at all. It's the last thing it should be.
But when it does try to be funny, some of them are genuinely funny. Some of them are very accidental in how funny they are. But it introduces some key themes as well. You know, you've got aspects of like water, stuff to do with the road, the country code, that kind of thing. So it's a good start of this one, I think. Yeah.
And that's a wrap. This is the end of the episode. We hope you're going to enjoy this series. And like I said, it is going to run for a minimum of 10 weeks. It will be every Friday night at 8 p.m. on the dot. I don't think they're all going to be as long as this one. I think it's because this is the first one.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't mind if they're this long. Like, it doesn't make no difference. There's no need to make them really, really short or stuff like that. And yeah, so my name is Walking the Car.
My name's Jay. Should we tell you what's on next week?
And next week is your episode, the one you had to research.
So is it Charlie Says?
Is it Charlie? No, it's
water,
water.
isn't it? Right, so next week, water safety.
And so yeah, we will see you next Friday, where we'll be looking at public information films related to water and water safety.
Water safety.
So we will see you then. Bye for now.
Cooey! Cooey!
He's doing one of them country dances.
Cooey.